Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The Vampire Diaries, episode 816, titled I Was Feeling Epic, which premiered Friday, March 10th, 2017 on the CW. And guys, this is the series finale, and I don't think I have cried so much in the last 2 hours. I mean, Anyways, before we get started, huge spoiler alert, guys. If you really haven't seen the episode, if you haven't seen the finale at all yet, please do not watch this video until you go do so, because I'm not holding back here, guys. I'm going to say everything that comes to mind, and I'm not alluding anything. I will state it point blank. So go watch it, go feel the emotional rush and everything, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Whew. I'm still not over it. Otherwise, other video reminders are up on screen. Let's try with the 10-minute clock. Good chance I'm going to go over it because this is a huge, monumental episode. But let's start with what happened. Well, as you guys know, it's the 2-hour series finale event. First hour dealt with the Forever Yours feature, which included interviews and recaps of what has happened over the last 8 years. We got individual character storylines. We got things about the Salvatore brothers, dynamics between Elena, Caroline, Bonnie, about the town itself, about how to kill a vampire, how all the ways they said goodbye to characters, or about turning into a vampire, or all these different epic love stories, and then about redemption itself, which is the core of what season 8 was. Probably you've noticed throughout the whole time I just said that you got a few quotes popping up here and there that were said in the video that I thought were important. But anyways, let's get right into the video itself, though. But it is the episode title quote itself. I was feeling epic was stated by Lexi to Stefan in episode 108. It was also said again to Stefan to Lexi at the end of the episode. So there's that. Timeline wise, we were immediately picking up after 8:15, time spanning of about an hour, because Catherine put a timeline saying that by 10 p.m. Hellfire will reign over Mystic Falls. So there's that. Storyline wise, the main storyline was pretty much stopping Catherine, and then also trying to find Elena too. But there's that. The main one I want to talk about is stopping Catherine. So pretty much we learned that Catherine had Cade wrapped around her finger the moment she entered Hell. We find out that Bonnie has the idea of redirecting the Hellfire back into Hell to destroy it, because Alaric shared with her the plan that they needed to override it with so much power in order to destroy it. And then in the moment that they needed, right when the Hellfire came through, Stefan turned Damon human before Stefan sacrificed himself, as he made sure that Catherine died with Ashen Dagger in her heart as the Hellfire took over her. And the only way to do that, he had to hold her in place. So he sacrifices himself for that moment to ensure that for once and for all, she is gone from their lives. Tidbits, though, I guess you don't really need to call them tidbits. This is where I'm going to call where they ended up, or the final end. I shouldn't say final, but the temporary end, I should say, for our characters. So we find out that Bonnie broke the spell in Elena so that they both can now live alongside each other. Bonnie doesn't have to die in order for Elena to wake up. So that friendship is back together. Also, with Stefan's sacrifice to save Damon and to take Catherine down, he is welcomed into his peace, or into his own afterlife, by Lexi in the car he had set on fire back in season 7. So that was a great reunion between the two of them. Also, we find out that Stefan's gift to Alaric was to give over the boarding house and have it turned into a boarding school, which is something Alaric wanted. So Alaric and Caroline team up together to build the school that Alaric wanted to build for gifted children, like the twins, and made it into the Salvatore boarding school. So with that, we found out that Klaus donated a lot to the boarding school through a letter written to Caroline. So unless you pause that moment and screenshot the letter, it's too quick to read while on screen. We also see Jeremy. He's actually teaching some hunter skills, crossbows, weapons, and all that there. So he's still alive, thankfully. We also see Dorian chipping in and still being on board with everything. And then throughout all that, we see that Joe and Liz are watching over their respective children as this whole adventure for them unfolds. We also see Bonnie deciding to fulfill the promise she gave to Enzo and live out her life. And she does that by wanting to travel and see the world. And she still has a connection with Enzo, so she can still talk to him and stuff, so she's not truly alone. And she also takes his blood with her in the vial, since she still has the necklace. Also, we see Matt being declared sheriff of Mystic Falls, and he got his own bench dedicated to him. And through that whole thing, we see Vicky and Tyler together, happy as they watch over Matt, and it looks like they are together hand in hand with that. And the biggest of them all is that Elena is reunited with Damon after he gives a brief memorial for Stefan, and there Elena continues into medicine, and we see her giving thanks to Stefan, how at a time of her darkest, Stefan came in and turned her life around, and it led her to this moment. And then also we see Elena and Damon still together, both human, and we don't see them getting married, but we do see them with rings together. And then we do see what their peace is. We see Elena's reuniting with her mother, her father, and with her aunt and with her uncle. So we see Miranda, Grayson, John, and Jenna again on the Gilbert porch, which was burned down in season 4. So after everything is all said and done, Elena does reunite with her parents again. And with that voiceover, we hear Elena sharing Damon's concern about how he'll never be able to reunite with Stefan, because he believes he's going to end up in the opposite place. But then we see Damon's peace being that he gets to reunite with Stefan. And that's the last moment we see is the brothers reuniting, and that's just amazing. Whoa. So, moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I think it has to be that Stefan sacrificed himself and turned Damon human. It wasn't the surprise of Stefan making that choice, but it was the fact that it was at this moment. Stefan had just finished getting married to Caroline, and he's already sacrificing himself to save the brother he grew up with. And I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. And just thinking about it right now, really, it moves and it's very inspirational and it touches the heart, but then it's also heartbreaking because there's so many things Stefan didn't get to experience like he wanted to, but he felt more like he had to do this, and it was powerful. It was very powerful. Oh my god. Okay, to make a point of reference, guys, it's only been 17 minutes since the final end credits aired on the show, so it's just like, I'm not still fully, completely over my cry fest of the last 2 hours, so there's that. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments, it's very hard to pick for this episode, but seeing all the familiar faces. I mean, we were told we were going to see 10 rumored faces, but with this episode alone, they might as well, I think we really saw 10 familiar faces in this one episode, let alone having that rumor be said we're going to see 10 familiar faces throughout the whole season, but we actually got them in all the finale from the looks of it. So just seeing them all, even just for a split moment, just, it really hits you because it's bringing back old memories, old faces. I mean, we got to see Miranda, Jenna, Grayson, John. We got to see all of them. We got to see Jeremy again. We got to see Tyler again. We got to see Liz. We got to see Joe. We got to see Sheila. We got to see Lucy Bennett. We got to see Beatrice Bennett, who was just introduced in the season, but still the emotions are going. We also get Catherine and Elena, if you want to count them, even though we've all known that they're going to be in the finale. So it's just huge emotional hit because it's just all these faces we've grown to know for the past 8 years, and then to have them come and gone, and then to have them back again was just, I liked it. I really did. Second favorite moment has to be the fact that we got to see Damon and Elena reunited again. Granted, the first one was interrupted by Catherine impersonating her once again, but the fact that we got to see Damon and Elena reunited, still heavily in love with each other, and still make it through being human again together, was something. While I wish we could see a bit more of what it's like for them to be human, I think I'd rather like hearing that they did prevail and they did have a happy life, a wonderful life, even though we don't get the logistics of it though. But to know that they got to the point that they got married, back to the point that they stayed together at the very end, and then to see their own moments of peace. And I would hope that they will combine eventually, because I like to think that maybe it's similar to like what heaven is like on Supernatural. You each have your own different heavens, and if you're lucky enough, you can connect them and such. So if it's something like that, then we're having a lot of people at peace meeting up and reuniting together. So there's that. I've waited 2 years for them to be reunited, and I'm so glad for the way they did it. So there's that. Another favorite moment I had, though, and there is the timer, was the huge display of Bennett power. I was stunned to see. It was great to see Bonnie tapping into her magic again after so long of her being without it. And then to see her be joined by Sheila, her Grams. That was just, it starts to hit you there. But then to have her be joined by Beatrice, I was kind of hoping it was Emily, but Beatrice is still good because she's still an ancestor. And then to have it pull back and you see all the Bennett witches joining Bonnie and helping her force the hellfire back into hell. And I saw Lucy, who we only saw in one episode in season 2 in 207. I saw her and I was like, oh, and then we saw quick flashes of other people, but I'm wondering, did we see Iona? Was Ketsia there? Was Emily Bennett there? It's so many faces connected to the Bennett line over the past 8 years. And it was so quick in this section, you were wondering, were they there? Were they there? It's like trying to find them, and it was so quick and so fast. And it was a great show of power, great show of unity, though. I really liked that. It was definitely something we needed to see from Bonnie, for sure. Just to have her reconnect to her roots and stuff was just fantastic. As well, moving on to my next part would be all the reunions. That has to be my favorite one, not only with reunions as in the present day after everything happened, like the reunion we got to see with Peter, Maxwell, and his 2 children, Matt and Vicky. That was emotional right before she had to ring the bell for the final time. And then the reunion we got to see with Elena and Bonnie for the 2 times, and then Elena with Caroline, Elena with Stefan, and with Damon. And then that was just emotional in itself. And then the 2 different reunions we get with Damon and Stefan, or I guess you can say goodbye, and then the reunion between the 2 of them. And then we getting the reunion of Elena with her family, with Miranda and Grayson and Jenna and John. It was just, and then the reunion of Vicky and Tyler being together and looking over Matt, or watching over Matt. It was just, and then just the side glances of Joe and Liz watching over their children, and then the quick reunion of Bonnie and her Grams. It was so powerful and so overwhelming for my emotions. It just, when you think you're done crying, it just starts up over again when a new face pops up. It's just, yeah. And also my last favorite part was the concept of peace. I definitely have to watch the episode again, but I really like the fact that essentially you kind of don't want to think about it, about like your favorite characters and dying and everything. But what I really like was the fact that we still got to see them at peace after they've died. We got to see them achieve what they wanted most, and that was to be at peace with everything. And that was very important with when we saw Damon, Stefan, and Elena get those, we get to see those moments of them at peace after everything they've been through. And while we may not know for Damon and Elena just how much time has passed until they've gotten that sort of peace and that reunion with their lost loves, but we can only fill in the blanks until that very moment. We will just know when it comes to it, they will be happy in reuniting with their loved ones, and eventually everyone else who later joins them might be able to join in as well. So that was a powerful thing as well. Moving on though, top 3 peeve moments. I don't have any. The only peeve I really have was the fact that this made me cry so much. It's like, with it being the series finale, you kind of anticipate the fact that this is really going to hit you, but you don't know how much until it actually hits you. So that was my only peeve, by how much it actually hit me. So there's that. Now, what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? It truly was an epic finale. I'll leave it at that. Now, random questions. Can't really say it since I'm not going to get any answers afterwards. The only way I could ever get any answers is if they bring it back somehow onto the originals and make comments about it. So there's that. But moving on to predictions, there's really no predictions. There really isn't, because of the fact this is the finale. The only prediction I can make is the fact that maybe when we get Alaric's appearance on the originals in episode 408, we'll get some kind of update of what has happened, since what we found out is going to happen with Alaric in the Salvatore boarding school. Maybe that's how we'll get Alaric into the world of the originals. But maybe we'll get updates of how everyone else is doing during that time. Maybe it'll start something with Caroline and Klaus, maybe. So that's always a possibility too. But let's go over this, guys. This is the series finale. After 8 seasons, after 171 episodes, this series going from 2009 to 2017, starting around the time the whole Twilight Saga hype began. It aired between the first and second movie release of the Twilight Saga. I truly, personally, wasn't even going to start watching The Vampire Diaries because of how similar the pilot reminded me of the movie, which I loved at the time, the Twilight movie, which I loved at the time. And yet, the more I watched The Vampire Diaries, the more obvious it became on how different these two love stories were going to be compared to Vampire Diaries, compared to Twilight. It pulled me in, and it is now the longest leading vampire show. Apparently, Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended with 144 episodes, and this one is at 171. So, yeah, I can't believe it. It's been 8 years and it's already come to an end. But, final thing though, guys, figured why not, but on screen is a huge list of familiar faces we have seen in the series. If you want, I could put a star against those that appeared. No, I will. I'll put a star against the names that appeared in the finale today. So, kind of have you seeing just how many we got to see. It's quite impressive too. It's a very long list though. But guys, I believe that's all I'm gonna say. I plan on doing a video later down the line after I've processed the end of The Vampire Diaries. I might do a video about like my favorites or my favorite moments that happened in the entirety of The Vampire Diaries, like favorite season, favorite moment, favorite ship, favorite dynamic, or favorite villain, like stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. I could definitely say it's truly been one hell of a ride. Many emotions, and with huge gaps of time, like I've said, crossovers are still a possibility. Klaus's letter to Caroline is an example of that fact. So it's truly not over yet. The originals is still airing, or it's going to air next week. And it's truly not over, guys. With this day and age, we got fan fiction still. We have the whole TVD family who can still generate their love for Vampire Diaries, can still create things out of these characters we've grown to love over the last 8 years. So just because we don't see any more episodes doesn't mean it's the end of the Vampire Diaries. Go find more stories to read for fanfiction. Go write your own stories if you want to. Make your own videos. Create your own content starring the characters we've loved from the show. Spread the love. Show how much this show has affected you or has changed you, or what it has meant to you for the last 8 years, or if you're just tuning in, how much it has impacted you in whatever way. Because I know for sure this is not the end for me for Vampire Diaries. I love these characters, and they're definitely going to be a huge part of whatever I happen to do in the future for my creative outlet. But that is the end of The Vampire Diaries, guys. How do you feel about that? Please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts, theories, opinions about what you thought about the finale, or what kind of things you want me to answer about The Vampire Diaries in particular for that video I mentioned I have planned. I'm thinking about maybe including a few friends, maybe. Don't know. Still a work in progress. But anyways, let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found at one place. Even though the show's over, I will still reblog the stuff. Who knows, new content might come out from other creations, or they might get crossovers again from the original. So you never know, guys. So follow me there if you like as well. Also, if you want, check out my Livejournal entry. The link for that is down below. For this episode, you will get a play-by-play recap of what happened in the episode with my in-moment thoughts or questions that popped up as I watched the episode for the first time. Pretty sure if I was writing it on paper, you would see the tier marks on the page itself. But computers, you can't really see it though. So follow the link down below if you want to check that out as well. And that is all I can think about. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you come back and check out my other videos for the other shows I talk about, or just be on the lookout for anything Vampire Diaries related that I might post later on. Again, I'm not done talking about this show, and while the new content is over, like I said, our love for it won't end. And we can still spread that love and spread the creation of these characters and continue their stories if we want to. There's still that option. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you come back to check out what I have to say. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye, guys.